I just came from the Ministry of Finance here in Latvia, and now I want to tell you how you can continue to earn 12% returns per year with forest loans here and have it secured as well. With that, welcome to Northern Finance. My name is Alex Black. I'm here in a park by the water in beautiful Riga, and the weather is absolutely fantastic today. And I just came from the Ministry of Finance because one of the lenders at Debitum Investments is now actually here at the Ministry of Finance, serving as the parliamentary secretary for the Ministry of Finance. He is basically the second in command here, right after the Minister of Finance. So he has become quite a big shot by now. He was previously the CEO of the Latvian Forest Development Fund. That's a lender on the Debitum platform who actually pays you interest on your money. You can earn returns of 9, 12, or even up to 13% per year right here simply by financing forests. For those who aren't familiar with the concept, it works like this. In simple terms, individual forest plots are purchased, then bundled into a large package, and finally resold to private equity. For example, the founder of IKEA invests heavily in forests here in the Baltics. And that's the business model, really. You buy up individual plots, bundle them into a large package with a certain markup, because these private equity funds don't want to deal with individual owners. They want to buy several hundred or even several thousand hectares at once. And Jānis Jupiniks, the founder of the Latvian Forest Development Fund, he was actually appointed to this role just recently, a few weeks ago. I find it very interesting. And yes, as a result, he is no longer the CEO of the Latvian Forest Development Fund. However, he remains the owner. And of course, that's a really good position where you can definitely make a lot of connections. And I just met him and I took a few quick notes here as well. I want to review notes and explain what this means for investors, because this is definitely quite a significant and really positive development. So first of all, he is no longer the CEO. Secondly, he's no longer the chairman of the supervisory board. Instead, Gatis Malderis is now the sole member of the supervisory board and therefore also its chairman. He was previously on supervisory board of Latvian Forest Development Fund, and the Latvian Forest Development Fund has already financed more than 8 million euros in significant forest loans here on Debitum in just a few months they've been active. So far, they have purchased 2,700 hectares, and regarding their goal of purchasing 10,000 hectares within 2 years, they are well on track to achieve it. And yes, there have already been the first repayments to Debitum investors. Everything has gone smoothly so far. And to maintain their short-term cash flow, they follow a strategy where they first sell the timber harvesting rights from the land they've acquired to other parties. This allows them to generate immediate income while they prepare the land for long-term development. Secondly, they lease out agricultural land, which is sometimes also part of the properties. And thirdly, they have already sold their first forest plots here, 150 hectares to be exact. Very exciting in my opinion. And soon there is supposed to be bank financing as well. This means that they will be able to gradually lower the interest that they pay in the long term. At the bank, Jānis told me they will currently pay around 6 to 8%, something in that range at this point in time. And of course, that's significantly lower than with Debitum. In the long term, it should become even less, but the money from Debitum investors will, of course, still be needed. That is absolutely essential in order to remain flexible here and to be able to quickly purchase forest plots when they become available. There is an online form here that you can sign up for. It is targeted on Facebook and other platforms at people who own forest land. When people sign up here, they can't even properly review all the applications because they're receiving so many from people wondering if they should invest here. So what I want to say is that the situation of the Latvian Forest Development Fund is very good. They managed to keep their short-term cash flow stable, which ensures they can reliably pay out the interest to investors, making it a solid setup for those looking for steady returns. I have to say I'm also quite heavily invested here. And it was really cool to meet Jānis in this new role. At the Ministry of Finance, of course, you sometimes get certain data a bit earlier, like how the economy is developing and so on. However, Jānis can no longer actively intervene in or influence the day-to-day business here, nor is he permitted to do so at this point in time. But when it comes to major strategic decisions, he still has a say, of course. And accordingly, I think it's really a very good and important role because you also make a lot of valuable and meaningful connections there that could be very useful for a lender like this. Personally, I've decided to invest another 1,000 euros into the Latvian Forest Development Fund and also increase my exposure on Debitum in general. I find this a really exciting development, and it also shows the kind of quality Debitum brings on board with their loan originators. I mean, if someone can be promoted that quickly into the Ministry of Finance, the second most important position in the most important ministry, that speaks volumes. So I think it's actually pretty extraordinary and quite remarkable. And it simply demonstrates that this is a truly serious long-term investment which has worked very well so far and which I firmly believe will also continue to work very well in the future. And that's just all I wanted to say about this at this point in time. Just a short little update here. I unfortunately wasn't allowed to film inside the ministry itself. That's not possible for compliance reasons. Yannis himself also can't say anything about it for compliance reasons, but I'm allowed to summarize this meeting here. That's why we're doing it this way now. And of course, it all makes sense. And we want to respect that this is how it has to be. But still, we're getting some very exciting information here, in my opinion. If you haven't invested in Debitum yet, then click the link below in the video description. With that, you'll get an extra bonus that you simply don't get with the regular sign up, and you'll also be supporting this blog at no additional cost to you. As I said, I think it's an exciting project, and I continue traveling here in the Baltics. Next stop is Tallinn. Yesterday I was at Ventus, and I think it's really important to be here on site and to check things like this out and follow up in person. And yes, another interesting fact, by the end of the year, bank financing is, as you might expect, in fact, actually expected to make up about 20% of the total capital structure here. That is a mix of external financing with 80% coming from Debitum investors and 20% from the bank. And in the future, the bank's share is expected to increase so that refinancing can be done at a lower cost. That makes sense in the long run in order to become more profitable here. And yes, that's all on this topic. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, please leave me a like and subscribe for this quick update, which I think contains some very important information. And let me know in the comments below what you think about this development at Debitum with the Ledwind Forest Development Fund. With that, I wish you good returns here from Riga and see you next time.